I should probably lead off every single video by saying thank you to all of you who have joined us over at the Florida Maki Patreon channel. Those of you who have stood up and put your money where your mouth is. The consensus is the vast majority are not disappointed. We have a brand new video coming this week, and it's going to deal with some even more controversial issues, things we can't talk about here at YouTube. We've been able to partner with Vimeo to talk about this, and make no mistake, there are some things coming down the road, a lot of you have seen it, that are going to require taking the gloves off and just speaking plainly. Unfortunately, that's something that those here at YouTube don't really appreciate, so we do have to move over there for that, but we're thankful for the opportunity to do that. Last night, those of you who joined us over at the Twitch channel later on saw that we were able to actually retake our fort and win, and now there are siege missions in 3 others, so we have plenty of stuff to do. But we had a really great conversation about folks who are facing challenges in their lives. And Twitch is a really great place to have a conversation. You have this wonderful panoramic scenery, with the game, and it's kind of fun to watch, to play. And we also just sit around and talk about life's events. If you have any questions for me, this is a great place to show up. It's usually 9:30, 10 o'clock in the evenings, and sometimes we'll run midnight, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. So would love to see you there. This is just a sample of some of the really great scenery in this game. It's Middle-earth: Shadow of War. But as we have continued to report over the last couple of weeks, what's going on with the cryptocurrency markets is not a fluctuation. It is not a normal thing. And the experts are seeing this now. Last night, I did a second video. It had cratered from just yesterday alone from 38 to 36. Now it's down to 34. Let's refresh and see what's happened. Yep, 34.6 to 34.5. It goes on unabated. And over at the Florida Maki Communities tab, we put a link to the Florida Maki backup channel called the Florida Maki Alpha Site. And there's a 4.5-minute video there that is an interview, Charlie Gasparino and David Asman on Fox, talking about this, where they pretty much state there is no end in sight, there is no floor, and this is going to be very different than the quote-unquote dips of the past. That crypto is going away. Even the most successful men make 2 or 3 critical mistakes in their lives. It's what they do afterward that defines them. And this is the best advice I can give to anyone involved in crypto who's seen this. A lot of people fell for it. It's what you do next. Not throwing good money after bad. Just accepting that this was one of those mistakes. God knows I've made them. It's time to move on from it for sure. But all the signs are there now. And I'm even starting to see it in some of my comments and things that people have said about different topics we've covered here, that we're heading for a new Dark Ages. The Dark Ages was defined by ignorance and fear and people judging each other and people looking for signs and making things out of nothing and fake Christians. See, the Bible's not a bag of trail mix. You can't just pick out the pieces you like and ignore the rest. Some have called into question whether the Florida Maki is a Christian or not. I mean, yes, he's read some scriptures and stuff, but he's also showed pictures of girls in bikinis, and he's made some very strange comments. And I'd like you to ask, if you go to church, your pastor a question and see if he can resolve it for you. If he can't resolve it for you in a matter of minutes, then he's likely not a pastor. He's just there posing as one. There's a story in the Bible where Jesus saw these men setting up tables in the temple and using unjust weights and measures and cheating people. And it angered him so that he went out and he fashioned a scourge, a whip with many ends to it, and it has little barbs on the ends. And he went in angrily and kicked over the table of the money changers and drove them out. And some would say, okay, well, that was righteous anger. They were doing something that was wrong. You see, it was legal at the time. It wasn't illegal what they were doing, but to him it was morally wrong. And so he took matters into his own hands. Now, later on, Jesus comes upon a woman who had been caught in adultery. Violation of the Ten Commandments, morally wrong, and a violation of law at that time. And the law provided that she be stoned. And it wasn't a false accusation. She was literally caught. And he says, he that is without sin among you, let him cast the first stone at her. Now, some people would scratch their heads and go, well, wait a minute, that seems like a bit of a, why does she get a pass? I mean, clearly, what she was doing was wrong. I mean, and one of the big 10 commandments, violation, and knowing the law, knowing what the law was, still committed the violation anyway. So ask yourself a question, what's worse? Getting overcharged at Walmart or cheating on your spouse? Or sleeping with someone else's spouse? Which is worse? Overcharging someone, maybe marking up the price a little bit too much, make a little bit extra, or cheating on your spouse? You see, there's an answer for this. There's absolutely an answer for this. It goes to the difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. Funny story, this exact event plays itself out in a sci-fi series called Colony. We covered this in detail over at the Patreon channel with Vimeo. And we laid it all out and showed everybody what the reality was over there. I'm not going to give you the big reveal because that's for those who showed up over there. There's a woman, and there's been this event where there's been this authoritarian government put in charge, and they choose who gets certain medical care and who doesn't. And she has a little boy. He's very sick. He needs insulin. And so she does up her hair and puts on something kind of racy and cozies up to a guy who's in the government authority, very high up, for the express purpose of saving her son's life. Now, I've had people come to me over there and say that, well, yeah, but, she did something morally wrong, so she should not have done that. That was wrong. That was wrong. That was sinful. Saving her son's life. Saving her son's life to them. You see, that's the modern fake Christian that we're going to have to keep out of our survival groups. Who would say such a thing? That a decision made, the heart of a mother, doing what she had to do to save a child, seeing other options that were far worse. See, this is her sister here on the right in the same series. This one runs around and plays resistance fighter and gets a whole bunch of people killed and harmed and lies to her husband in the process. She doesn't cheat on her husband, but she lies to him. But when you watch the series, you would think one was right, one was wrong. See, it's about mercy. And it's about forgiveness. And it's about state of the heart. We live in a moment where we do what we have to do for the people that we love. The old rules just don't apply. What old rules, in this particular case, would have applied that would have stopped you from doing what you would have to do for those you love? When was that never the case? Now, some people look at this and go, wait a minute, okay, I get the whole idea there. That was kind of a moral quandary, but this is beyond the pale. Should prostitution be made legal? Oh, that's very clear. The Bible is unambiguous about this. It's totally wrong. You just can't. Book of Joshua. Now Joshua, the son of Nun, set out 2 men from Acacia Grove to spy secretly, saying, "Go view the land, especially Jericho." So they went and came to the house of a harlot named Rahab and lodged there. And I'll let you guys read the rest about the story of the woman Rahab, justified by faith. See, there's a lot of fake Christians out there that haven't actually read the Bible. Oh, they go to church and they pay their tithes, and they dress head to toe, and they cover themselves up, and they look down their nose at people. He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at anyone for anything, because this day is coming, and it's coming quick, where things are going to get a little blurry. Right and wrong are no longer going to be ours to judge in others. It will be commanded us to do what we need to do to take care of our own and to show love and mercy and grace to others. That's the only way we get through this. That's probably the biggest survival prep you could ever make. Make sure you have stored up mercy in your heart, because things aren't always what they seem. And I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.